Hello, and in this video I want to look at the 0.2.0 release of the ClipImg extension for Visual Studio Code. So if we jump in here, we'll see that the main focus of this release was around making the generated URL and also how that image is stored within our Azure Blob Storage account configurable. So what Matthias did, so Matthias is the main person behind the work that's going into this extension at the minute. I'm just along for the ride because I was the person who kind of created the scaffolding for this extension, and Matthias has picked it up, and I'm really thankful for him for doing that. So what Matthias has done, if we look at the README here, he's made it so that the template markdown, the template blob name, and the template blob URI, which have default values, can now be made configurable. So as per the last video, what we saw was that when the image is saved into Azure Blob Storage, we saw that it was the year, month, day, and then the file name that was created. So that's fully configurable now if you don't want it to be stored in that sort of folder structure. And also the generated URI that's placed onto our markdown file included the SAS token. So as we spoke about, the SAS token makes it so that if you don't want to fully open up the blob storage account to completely anonymous access, you can use a SAS token to do that. But if you wanted to configure that, you absolutely now can. So if I go into Visual Studio here and I open the settings UI, so I just hit the command palette and typed in settings, what we can do here is if we search for ClipImg, we'll see that those settings that Matthias has created are now available in here. So if we wanted to alter the blob URI as example, so we click in edit in JSON here, what we'll see here is that the default is the URI plus the SAS token that's generated. Now, if you didn't want to include the SAS token, we can just remove that. Okay, so if we go back to our index.md here and we open up our screenshot tool, and we'll capture down in the bottom left hand corner here again, and we'll say copy at clipboard. Back in my command palette, if I then say paste images markdown, and in here we'll just give it a name again, test image. So what we'll see here now, rather than having that SAS token included, it's accepted the template that we've used for the blob URI, and it's only included the URI directly to the image. So depending on how your storage account is set up, so obviously this one isn't open up to the internet, because that SAS token isn't included, folks can't get to it at the minute. So, but depending on your setup, this might be a perfectly viable example. So what I was hoping to illustrate here is that how those URIs are generated, how the blobs are stored into the Azure account store, all of that is now fully configurable. And if you go back to the README, there's a couple examples here of, for example, if you had a vanity URL or you're using a CDN, you can absolutely use that in the generated URI so that you don't have to come back and change those things each and every time. So this release was really all about making this as configurable as possible. The way that Matthias made this possible is using, on the back end, it's using Liquid for the templating. So there's lots of formatting options that you can do in terms of functions that you can call within that engine to make those URLs and folder names as exactly how you want them to be. So that's what this was all about. Hopefully this was useful to you. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out on Twitter, or if you have any issues with the extension itself, feel free to go up here and create an issue, and we will take a look at it. Thank you very much.